Alright, today we're going to be working on making a primitive fire. Or I wouldn't even say primitive fire. Let's just go ahead and say we're going to start with a basic fire. First thing we're going to talk about is your tinder, which is what you're going to actually use to catch a spark to be able to start a fire. Alright, right here is my tinder ball. Now what I made it out of is just a piece of tree bark. However, as you can see, there's several fibers in tree bark. Alright, now all I do, I just get like a piece like this. You want to go over. Start rolling it other directions, break it up even more. After a while, come up with a really fibrous material like that. Pull it off pieces. You can separate it, adjust it however you want. That's how I made this. Alright, now the reason I made it like this is because it's easier to catch fire with these little strings. If I put a spark on there, it's going to be a lot easier to catch fire than these pine needles. They're really thick. It can be done, but it's going to be very difficult. Alright, so tinder ball. Next thing, this is also for fuel ignition. It's also part of your tinder. These are pine needles, leaves, little pieces of bark and stuff that fell off of this material down in there. I'm going to set this right in here. Alright, now what I'm going to want to do is try to catch a spark in here. You could use a lighter, but you'd be surprised how many people can have a lighter and still not be able to start a fire without knowing exactly how you need to start a fire. And that's why I'm going to teach you this way. Alright. I'm going to be using a tool. It's called the metal match. All it is flint and steel. You got the flint over here. You got the steel here. Now, when using this, I usually start with it at a back angle like this and work my way that way, starting a spark just like that. Now you can also use where you pull back this and just turn your fingers and still get a good set of sparks. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to try this a little bit closer, that way y'all can see. Now when you're making fire, you also got to take into consideration wind. If it's rain, obviously you would do this under a tree, a cave, or some sort of shelter that's going to protect your sparks. And I already got a fire. I'm going to turn, I'm going to catch my pine needles on fire. Nice and lit. I got another set right here. Throw a little bit on. Make sure you don't smother it, that way you protect your fire. You don't put it out. Air is going to give you life for your fire on top of the combustible fuel that you got on there. Next, we're going to start putting sticks on here. Now these sticks right here are going to be small twigs. I'm just going to lay them on there. They should be no bigger than your pinky. Like I said before, you don't want to smother your fire. I'm going to lay these back and forth, crisscross each way. And if I need to add some more highly combustible fuel like pine needles, or I got a lot of leaves, or if I want to use my tinder that I made before, I can do that. Alright. Little by little you want to add a few more small little twigs, making sure not to overweight your fire and stop the air from flowing through there. That's what's going to kill it. Anytime you want. A few more combustibles. Said you can use this tree bark and other stuff in there, it'll catch really quick. I throw this tinder ball in there, it ain't gonna do much filling, but that thing's gonna catch really fast. Now once you get your sticks burning, you want to add a little bit bigger of a size, bigger than your thumb. Like I said, you want to be very careful when choosing sticks. You also want to make sure they're rotted. You can also hear a sound that does that snap. That's usually what you're looking for. You're not always going to be able to get that provided to you due to weather, but that's going to be your safest bet when choosing wood for your fire. Alright, so I got a good fire going right now. Remember, at any time, if you want to stick in smaller sticks back over it that are going to burn better, if you want to stick in some leaves, pine needles, it'll help out, or whatever. The main thing you want to do is catch this on fire real good. And of course, you can start adding a little bit bigger pieces of wood carefully, not to collapse what you've already built. And my friends, how you build a fire. All that with a spark. So it can be done. It's kind of difficult for people to do at the beginning, so it's good to practice it. Me personally, I always practice because I have small fires out here. Every now and then I'm in an environment where I have lots of trees, I can be able to do that, but I practice on a regular basis. So every time I make a fire, I want to make it exactly how I just showed you. Whatever. So if I ever do need this skill, it's an actual skill that I possess. It's not something that I read in a book that I think I might be able to do on the last minute. It's something that I already know how to do, just like any other skill that someone would possess. So fire can be used as a tool for a lot of different things. Main things would be sanitizing water, preparing food, providing body heat. That way you can prevent hypothermia in a survival situation. And you can also make tools. The list goes on and on depending on environment and situation, but it's definitely a skill that a lot of people don't possess, is being able to know how to start a basic fire. You'd be surprised. Other than that, that's all I got.